Yes, listen, it was crazy, but hey, rightfully so. She got the W. The Minnesota Vikings came into FedEx, beat us 20-17, came back down 17-7, and they came back to get it done late in the game. I was furious at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was. Matter that I wasn't the Dallas or the Philly game or any of that, because we were up. We had this game,
Yes.
and it was our mistakes that gave them not only the opportunity to get back in it, but then to take the lead and then or to tie the game, and then at the end gave up our opportunity to win the thing because the daggone penalty with that. We won 3 in a row, and then we come in, and the fact that we went up 17-7 kills me because we just let us. I was expecting us to get blown out. Both of us said it wasn't going to be close, and we should have won this game. Talk to me, man.
So this one hurt. This one really hurt because we were up 17-7 in the fourth quarter. Then we went up 24-7. Okay. And then we got that 6 points taken away. 23-7. Then they got taken away from us in the second half. So I get to really pay attention and focus in the first half. And then both my boys wake up from naps. And so I'm paying attention, but I'm going like, I'm watching the game. There's the play. Now I'm watching to make sure he doesn't fall. Okay. Now I'm watching the play, watching to make sure he doesn't fall.
Right.
And so I was sitting there and I kept singing. I kept doing it. I was going, dun, 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 when we were getting touchdowns and field goals, and my littlest one was smiling and loving it, and so we were having a good time. And when St. Juice had the pick 6, I just kept going with it. It's like fight on, fight on. I went into it, and even Trisha looked over. She's like, "You're happy today," because it was 23-7 with like 10 minutes left in the game. And then it all came crumbling down. And this one hurt, especially when they got the field goal. All right, they got the field goal. Doggone it, we're down 3. All right, it's going to be another Heineke miracle. God, let's hope he can do it. And then also, you see Kirk putting his helmet back on. You're like, what's going on?
Right.
What? And then they come out and it's like, well, this is – and to lose like that, we're like, you don't even get a chance. This one stung. It stings. And it's like you said, we had this game. We gave this win away.
Yep.
It's that whole feeling that we had a couple weeks ago. Indy felt this way. Chicago probably felt this way.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, this was our game. This is our game to win it. We're driving down, and it's like, but especially compared to the week before where Indy had the lead and then just lost it at the end. That's exactly what we did.
Yep.
And it's just so painful, man. It's hard. It's hard to swallow this one.
It's rough. It is really rough because we, like you said, we had it, and it's one of those where you look back on it like we never should have been in it, but we were the better team. We played better. We might not have been better talent-wise, but we did everything to win the game except win the game. And you go to the Ridgeway penalty that it's one of those here we go again moments where it's like we can't get out of our own way. You know what I mean? I mean, to have that happen, and it's one thing if he was on the left side of the center. If I'm facing from the goalpost looking at him, he's on the left side. He crosses the face of the center to the right side and then runs him over. So, I mean, come on now. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, right here, man. Be smart about it.
The thing about that's frustrating to me about that is, so that penalty happened because the Vikings let the refs know about it. Because on an extra point, he had a much more egregious play. And that's what Ron got mad about, was he was like, you didn't call anything earlier or warn us earlier that we were contacting the center, because he was making some of the same moves. And the center, this time, he did some acting a little bit. He got hit with this acting. And my thing was like, he made the field goal. Right. This did not impact the play.
Right.
We didn't jump up and block the kick. We didn't tip the kick. No one jumped over what he did. It's like, that's where the whole thing is like, is a penalty, or can you stay within the confines and flow of the game? Or are you inserting yourself into it? And so that's where it's like, I'm not arguing that it wasn't a penalty, but there's got to be a little bit of, do I still need to call this? And what else has happened in this game that we've let go similar that you didn't call? So that is hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it was difficult, ladies and gentlemen, but we are here to talk about it. We did lose 22-17. Oh man, late in the game. But let's go into evaluating our keys to victory a week ago. Will, what was one of your keys to victory last week?
So the first one is I said that Taylor either needs to turn the ball over early or not at all, because anything in the end of the game was going to be tough for us to overcome. Boy, was I poetic with that.
Yes, it's the worst time.
The worst time. And we're going to get into the negatives with Taylor, so I don't want to spend too much time, but that just was absolutely crippling.
Yeah.
That penalty, because it put them, they caught it at the 50. They ran it all the way inside maybe the 20, at least inside the 30, so they were almost in the red zone or in the red zone. It's just they scored 2 plays later, I think. Like, you just turned and gave them all this momentum. And it was in a situation of, we can't have a mistake here. And he did. And it was second down that he did the mistake on. It wasn't third down, and it was the same type of stuff that of bad mechanics. When he gets stuff around him, he has bad mechanics. He didn't step into the throw, so he sailed it, and it was just a back-breaking interception that we couldn't afford.
Yeah. It was at the worst time, and it's funny, I thought about it, because after we got out of the first half, I was like, he didn't throw an interception. Oh, snap. Okay, what does this mean? Because even I go back to the last drive that we had, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is the time when he shows up and does it. But the timing of that interception was, it affected us, man. It was an issue. It was definitely an issue. One of the things I said was establish the run. One of the things I wanted, we did last week, was over 30 carries. We've been averaging around late 20s, high 20s, and low 30s in carries. And this week we got it at 30, over 100 yards on the ground, average almost 5 yards a carry. And our number one guys, Robinson, Gibson, both of those guys had over 35 yards. Robinson having 44 and Gibson with 36. I like that. We talked about them being a two-headed monster and getting their touches, and that's great. We need that. Heineke, he's going to scramble for a couple yards. Then he got about 17. Then you have the X factors. Then you have the guys that you don't, that they'll try to game plan for, but those are our gadget guys. Curtis Samuel getting that one run where it was, came into the backfield, and it was straight up the gut.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was straight for 16, and you're like, ooh, okay, wait a minute. We need to put him in the backfield, like, from the eye. And then on the flip side, you have the was it third down in one play where you run the jet sweep to Amani Rodgers, and he comes up with the big run. And it's like, wait a minute, okay. And it's funny because I remember listening to that one on the radio, and they went back and they said, Ron had the little smirk on his face, but it was one of those, all right, it worked that time, but put that deep into the playbook. Don't call that out unless we need it.
Yes.
But the fact that we were able to do that, look, we talked about it. We will continue to talk about it. We had control of this game, and one of the reasons is because we did have a very sustainable running game. Our running game was going, and it was helping to open up our passing lane. So it was one of the things that I thought we needed to do, and we did, and it kept them off the field for a little good part of the game. So. What else? What was one of your other ones?
Yeah. Well, and I am going to touch a little bit on the running game later on about it, because I do still feel like it's taken us too many handoffs to make it work. Like, we're not that effective with it, aside for some of those trick plays that you were talking about. But they did something in the second half with the running game that I thought could translate into the Philly game. That's one of my keys to victory. So we'll get to that. I just wish we were a little bit more successful with our running game, because we really do need it in order to help Heineke. So I had, talking about defense, bend, don't break, make them kick field goals. And we held Minnesota under 20 points. And looking back at some of their other times, they've easily been scoring, in the high 20s. And so we had them corralled. It's the fourth quarter with 10 minutes to go, and they only have 7 points.
Yeah.
So the defense was doing what they're supposed to do, and above and beyond that. And they're going with a top 3 receiver in the league. And he's getting some plays, but they're holding him down too. They're making some plays. So I felt the defense capitalized on that. We'll get to some of the positives with them, but I thought, you really got to walk away with this saying, hey, the defense really did some things out there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And right along those lines, one of my other keys to victory was cloud the picture. You know what I mean? Fog the picture up for Kirk Cousins. And you know what? I mean, look, he got over 250 yards, yeah, but he was 22 for 40. You know what I mean? There were times where we definitely was making it a little more difficult. He had a number of deeper plays that he got. He had a couple touchdowns. We talked about the one interception that we will discuss a little bit later from your guy, Danny Johnson, late in the half. But that was more of a last minute, trying to make something happen right before the halftime that deflected up, and he took advantage of that. That was a better play, like you said, by Benjamin St. Juste. But still, we gave him headaches, okay? And that also goes with the defense, that defensive line, and led by Deron Payne. We only had 2 sacks, but then we had 11 QB hits. We were hurrying him all day, and there was a number of times where you had him laying on the ground in pain after a couple of our hits and getting to him. And I mean, it was early and often. And I love that because it really kind of, it slowed that offense down. Look, Justin Jefferson did what he did. We know he went off. We'll discuss that a little bit later, but the fact of the matter is we shut down that ground game. We shut that stuff down, and the passing game wasn't the threat that maybe the Eagles' passing game wasn't a pass. Maybe, some of these other pass games that we might have faced. So, yeah, that was one of the things I thought we needed to do was cloud that picture. And I honestly thought we did a good job with it. It was the run late in the game, and then he had the one, pass to Dalvin Cook that was a great catch.
Yeah.
But I thought we, for the most part, gave him a headache.
So. Absolutely. It was interesting to see, we haven't really watched Kirk Cousins a lot. Or at least I can say I haven't. I used to check in after, the first year to see how he was doing and kind of, bittersweet, hoping he wouldn't do so well, that type of stuff. But I saw a different Kirk Cousins out there on Sunday. I thought it was really interesting because he kind of downplayed this game. He said, he's a professional. He really is a professional. Where like he talked about all week, he talked about how nice it was his time in DC. He got his career started here. He met, his family got started here. He became a backup to a starter. But one of the things that here, which is kind of why they were reluctant to extend him, was he was a very careful quarterback. We talked about it last week. That's why you said cloud the picture. Don't let him see the perfect painting that he wants, and he's going to have trouble out there because he doesn't want to throw into bad stuff. Well, that was not the Kirk that I saw on Sunday. And I don't know if the difference is because he had Justin Jefferson out there and an elite wide receiver that he trusts, but Kirk just threw the ball up there several times. Just say, like, go catch it. Here's your ball. Go catch it. That touchdown pass was not bad coverage at all by St. Juste. Yep. And that's just Kirk just going, all right, here, go make a play. And that's, it's like I was really surprised to see him make that evolution, be a lot more aggressive out there. He threw that more often than not. Most of them, they were to Jefferson. So, it makes sense if you're going to throw to one of your elite guys. But like you said, some of the stats, look better than kind of some of the impacts. I mean, Hawkinson torched us. Jefferson torched us. Even Thielen had 3 catches for 67 yards like that. But it didn't feel like that in the game. Like, Kirk played all right. He played capable. That's what he is, capable Kirk Cousins. But he wasn't playing lights out, and they bruised the living out of him, They battered him, So it's like they were doing what they needed to do to win it. The defense was for us to win it. But he got last laugh on us.
Oh, gets last laugh. Wait a minute.
Oh, has she arrived?
Yeah, she's arrived.
Hello, Cat. Yeah,
Oh
what's your
my
Kirk Cousins?
goodness.
There, yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that's my guy Jared, a Cowboys fan. Y'all didn't like, no, we did not.
Nope.
We did not.
It is so funny too, because when he made that an interview, he goes, I haven't even thought about that statement. I forgot about that. That's total bull. And as soon
Yeah.
as they won the game, he was like, yeah. And then to break it down to the whole team did it. So he clearly had a lot of emotions for this game. But,
oh, absolutely.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
So one of my keys is that we did not do was spread the ball and get it out quick.
Yes.
Because I said the Vikings defense, aside from Patrick Peterson, is vulnerable. And they actually had a corner that I've already forgotten his name. I'm sorry. I had it written down before. I can't find it. That had a good game. He came in, I think, for their other corner, Dancer, and he played really well. But our offense was atrocious. Our passing offense was atrocious. I said we needed to spread the ball around. If you take away that one long bomb, we threw for 100 yards.
Yeah.
I have to pause for dramatic effect here because we threw for 100 yards, Sean.
Oh, my gosh.
And the only reason we got the extra 49 is because the back judge tripped up their safety who was backing up going, here it comes.
Yeah.
So
that was ugly.
It was atrocious.
Yeah.
It was atrocious. So we did not do that. We did not spread the ball around. Or if we spread it around, we did not spread around and catch it. So It was pretty pathetic.
Didn't happen. And last but most certainly not least, Catherine. One thing I said we absolutely could not do was allow this man to walk out of FedEx saying, you like that? And as Catherine has so eloquently reminded me on a daily basis, he did do that. He walked out saying, you like that, and now everybody seems to say it. I'm done with you, Kirk Cousins, and you too, Cat. Get rid of all this basketball season. Let's go.
Just a reminder, Kat, since she is paying attention, we are a questionable ref's decision away from that game being 23-7.
Very true. Very true.
Because you like Captain, you like that through a pick 6.
Huh.
That got taken off the board. So just remember that.
Oh yeah.
But he is a good dude, and so happy for him that he was able to have his little revenge or happiness. Good for him.
Oh, we're moving on, Will. No more.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.